So as you can see, I'm surrounded by a pretty wide variety of props. And so I want to show you a couple of different variations on this pose so you can find the one that works best for your body. Some of these are studio props, like this rectangle bolster and this pranayama bolster. But these things can also be recreated with things that you already have around the house, like blankets, pillows, and things like that. So let me show you a variation of the pose just using studio props to make it really easy to understand how we're trying to support ourselves. And then I can show you some variations with blankets to adjust for height, for your personal body, and to the props that you have on hand. So the pranayama bolster would come behind the body like this. And basically, we're laying the spine down on this bolster. So you can see that my shoulders are still kind of falling open. This is lifting through the heart. It's called a pranayama bolster because it increases your lung capacity, kind of opens the heart. But you can see that my sacrum is now the lowest point on my body instead of the highest point like we talked about. So what I might use underneath my sacrum could be something as high and as thick as a studio rectangle bolster. In which case, I might come to seated on this bolster and kind of support myself as I lower down. Now, because my spine is lifted in this way, this doesn't feel as high off the floor as it would if my spine was resting on the floor. So this allows my chest to open. I can then bring my arms down to the side. I can rest them on my body. I could also alternatively bring them up and overhead. And with my legs and feet, I can keep my feet wide and knees kind of collapse together. I can open the knees wide. I can also extend the legs long. And since we're holding this pose for a long period of time, you can also alternatively extend one leg at a time, just kind of switching as your body requires or lets you know that that's needed. So this is kind of the basic low bridge pose. Another option would be to put something underneath your the backs of your heels or just above your heels at your Achilles to support your feet so that your legs are a little bit more level with your sacrum. So that's another option. If you don't have these fancy studio props on hand at your house, let me show you some other variations that can also help to adjust for height. So even though I have this prop, I might make another choice just based on what's more comfortable for my body. So to replace the pranayama bolster, you can use a blanket, and usually they're folded, kind of rectangular like this. And depending on your height and how much height you want away from the floor, you might roll this open or fold this open so that it's a little bit longer and fold it into thirds. You can see that's just a little less thick than this pranayama bolster. And that can lay down behind you. Another option, especially if you're shorter like I am, would be to keep it more on the short side and maybe take about a 4 fold. And you can do this by kind of flat rolling the blanket like this. You can also do like an accordion fold. So those are other options. And then this would come behind your body to act as the pranayama bolster. And then for the height underneath your sacrum, I almost recommend, rather than using a bolster, unless that's just really comfortable for your body, if you have some extra blankets, I kind of recommend making a custom height support for your sacrum. So you can see I've got a couple of extra blankets here. And kind of like I did for the pranayama bolster, I'm going to create kind of just a tri-fold so it's a little bit wider. And just kind of create like a little block kind of thing. And this might be enough height for your body as is to take the place of your regular rectangle bolster. So as you come down, now your spine and your sacrum are roughly the same height. Again, same rules apply for your legs. Maybe they're low, maybe they're a little bit lifted. You might place a higher thing here to lift your feet up. You could also use the edge of a bed or a couch in this scenario. So maybe your pranayama bolster or another stack of blankets or pillows can work under your feet. They could also just rest on the floor. I would like a little bit more height underneath my sacrum, not quite as high maybe as the bolster. So I'm going to take this third blanket And again, just kind of tri-fold. Actually, this one I might just double fold. So I have a little bit wider base, and then place this kind of on top. And this allows me to have a little bit more height in my sacrum. I'm going to use this pranayama bolster again, could be used as a folded blanket instead to support my feet. So once I'm kind of down, my spine is a little bit lifted, so my shoulders are lower than my heart center. My sacrum is lifted, and I might need to do a little adjusting to the position of the prop so that I feel really stable and sturdy. My sacrum kind of sinking into that support. And again, arms can be in a variety of positions, and feel free to move throughout the holding of this pose. One way to use a rolled blanket or a pranayama bolster is again to kind of place just underneath or just above the heels, underneath the calves. So this is one method. Another method might be to bring that rolled blanket or pranayama bolster a little closer to your body and maybe rest the pinky edges of your feet. You might also choose to place a little support underneath the knees, or again, you can do away with this entirely and just bring the feet wide and the knees together, or if it's comfortable, you can also just let your knees be pointing upward. I find that after 10 or 15 minutes, I don't want to hold my legs up anymore, and they tend to fall open anyway, so you might prepare for that with a little bit of support nearby. One third option that you can take is to use just kind of a smaller rectangular couch cushion as your base of support underneath your sacrum. This one's pretty squishy, it's not super firm, so I might use a rolled or folded blanket underneath as well. And placing this down, again, can kind of act as just a little bit of extra height. Another variation I want to show you for your legs and feet, if you choose to have your legs extended, perhaps you have some support behind your heels or between your heels and your calf muscle, kind of in the Achilles area. Another trick you can do is to take a folded blanket or towel. Blankets work a little better just because they're longer. And open it up to its widest setting. And then kind of fold it in half long ways. And then roll the blanket so you have this nice long tube. And before you lie back, we would take the blanket, the long blanket, and place both heels or Achilles kind of on top like this. And then you take these long wings that we have on the side and basically kind of make a little pretzel. So one side's going to come over the top of this ankle and then underneath the other. You can see we've got kind of a little bow shape, and then this one kind of does the same thing. So this one will come across the top of the first and then just kind of threaded underneath the other leg. So what you can see here is sort of a little pretzel shape in the legs, and that will kind of help support your legs, both the ankles, and also kind of keeping your legs still. So that's an option as well. So these are some variations for your low bridge pose. Make sure as you set up your props that you feel like you can hang out in this position for several minutes, maybe 15 minutes or so. As you begin to settle into stillness, take several rounds of deeper breaths. Each inhale, let your heart open a little bit more. And each exhale, start to feel the weight of your body settling deeper and deeper into whatever is supporting you below. This pose is useful as a heart-opening shape.
This can be a really great pose to rest in when there are changes happening in your life that you need to open up to. Maybe we're feeling a sense of lack. And this allows us to open up to the abundance of each moment, to the lessons that are inherent in our mistakes and missteps. This pose is also a really great shape to take when you're in that in-between space, opening up to all available opportunities, into a pose that can carry us from one reality into another. This pose can act as a connection or a bridge, if you will, from one phase of life into a new one. Allow your breath to be a part of this structure, part of this shape. Each inhale, feel a sense of expansiveness. Each exhale, sink a little deeper. Find a sense of trust. The architecture of an actual bridge, whether it's to carry cars or a train or just pedestrians, it requires a lot of underneath support to stay stable, to carry people from one side to the other. So get a sense of trust in the support that you've set up below you to carry you from the beginning of this pose to the end. Breathe as deeply and abundantly as you can. Again, each inhale allowing you to receive openly, opening you up to new perspectives, new opportunities, new ways of doing things. Each exhale, an embodiment of that trust in the support that's available to you. This support might look different in each person's life. For some, it is a trusted friend, a practice, a teacher or mentor, an ideal. Perhaps it is some form of deity or God or guiding spirit. But just allow yourself to trust that support more fully. And as you let go to what is, as you become established in stillness, let your heart open. Let your perspective open. Feel that sense of expansion from a static place, that stillness, into that open and unlimited realm of possibility. Receive it into your heart. From your place of stillness, from your supported way of being, dive into the richness of what each moment has for you. Let yourself be open to every possibility, trusting that whatever shows up for you is meant for you. or at least meant for you to consider. Perhaps make a note of any transition that you are passing through currently in your life. And feel free to come back and revisit this pose at any time to help to bridge that gap between one reality and the next. Deepening your support, deepening your trust, expanding your perspective, expanding your possibilities. Be fully present. Open to the moment. As your heart lifts and opens, find gratitude for that which supports you, however that support is showing up in your life. Trust it. Be grateful for it. Allow yourself to rely on it. If your mind begins to wander, just come back to focusing on your breath and how your breath itself is a tool for that expansion, that opening, that possibility seeking, and also that trust and that reliance on support. It is from this place of stillness that we can cultivate that witnessing state of consciousness. That which does not have an opinion, that which does not judge, but simply watches, observes, and allows. Settle even more deeply. Open more fully. Trusting in all the sensations that show themselves to you, begin to look for the messages of these sensations, whether they're in the body or sensations from outside the body, from the world. No matter what sensations arise, stay centered, stay grounded. Continue to observe. When the moment comes for you to release this shape, slowly bend at the knees, maybe slip your feet out of that bind if you're using the blanket. Just maybe allow your knees to rock side to side along the support underneath you. Maybe hands come in front of the knees. And nice and slow, roll to your side, coming off of all the supports, kind of curl up into a little seed position, rounding the back of the spine. Pause, find stillness. And after a few more rounds, use your top arm to gently press yourself back up to a seated position. And begin to settle into an easy seat. Letting your hands rest on your knees. And just breathe. Allow the palms to come together in front of the heart, bow the chin towards the chest, look inside. Find gratitude for this practice, for this time of stillness and contemplation. loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy, healthy, safe, and free. Namaste.